You know what? So somebody asked me like, well, what is the difference now than it was, say, 10 years ago? I said, we're telling our own stories instead of having people dictate what our stories are. And me and you were talking earlier about The Blind Side. And I said, it tripped me out when the movie came out, you know, I was in the film.
Right.
And when I read Michael Orr wasn't a fan of it, and we talked about it. And you said, nah, he really wasn't. And I said, well, you know what? But before I do any other story, I play anybody else in real life, I want to talk to the people who I'm portraying. I want to tell the story from their perspective. They know them better than I could ever know.
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? What it is, what it ain't, what it could be, what it should be, what it would be. I'm here with another episode of Funky Friday. And I'm Mr. Boogie to all, Cam Newton to some, or as I would say it, Cam Newton to some, Mr. Boogie to all, however you want to cut it, cook it, and serve it. I'm here to drop real content for the masses and the promise to keep it funky for your asses. Today's guest has been involved in so many different cultural iconic series and films. Blindside, Selma, Raising Kanan, shucks, the list goes on. Has been a part of 4 Oscar-nominated movies, Harriet, and he's here with me today. Atlanta native, the real ATL, Mr. Omar Dorsey.
What's happening, Cam?
Yeah.
My G.
My guy.
My guy.
So boom. We talked about it briefly off camera. Let's talk about the old Atlanta versus the new Atlanta.
Yeah.
And the impact of Atlanta.
Hey, man, when I see those T-shirts that say Atlanta influences everything, when I go around the world, man, I know my girlfriend just came back from Colombia. She said, it's a club down there called Club Atlanta. And it's a hookah bar.
What?
Yeah. And they play trap music.
What?
So when you think about the cultural reach that Atlanta has, man, we are felt everywhere. And it started with old Atlanta. It started with the Kilos and the Shadis and all of that, you know, and then moved up to the Outcasts and the Goody Mobs, and then moved up to the Futures and Migos and Gucci and all of that. But you can feel, especially in a hip hop way, which is what I always wanted to do on the acting way.
When I was looking at your, the interesting things about Mr. Omar Dorsey.
Yeah.
We have an unbelievable team. Shout out to the team, Big Brico, Ashe and Co. Giving me intel to find out about the talent. And it was like, you wanted to be a rapper.
I did want to be a rapper. I thought I was the best rapper in the world.
As everybody in Atlanta at some point.
Listen, bro, I thought I was the best rapper in the world until I heard Players Ball. I said, oh, they do Andre different. I was man. Bro, when I heard that, I said, oh, they doing something different down here.
Hallelujah. Hey, come on, man.
Listen, man. Yeah, I thought I was going to be a rapper. But I can't do nothing. I can't rap a Christmas gift now. But man, no, you know, you coming up, man, that's what everybody wanted to do. And especially like with my age, it was people getting signed. When LaFace first came down, when So Def, when Jermaine Dupri had Chris Cross and all them, and he was signing people from my high school. I went to Avondale High School, the Cab School for the Performing Arts, the Cab County School for the Performing Arts. And so we had a sister named Nina Lee who was signed to So Def. She was on So Def Christmas album. I was like, man, just goddamn, let me try to meet Jermaine Dupri. But then I was like, oh, these boys, they doing something different out here. Now I'm gonna stick to this acting thing, man.
But check this out though. So I recently, and please, viewer, do not get mad at me. I want you to check it out if you can. I seen a documentary on the plane headed to go see my younger brother play at William & Mary. It was called Bowlegs. It was about an influential person in Atlanta. And please, somebody, Ashe, can you please get me the name of that person? It was about an influential person behind the scenes of the growth of Atlanta.
Oh, really?
And he was a lawyer that, as far as where we are now, we talked about the cultural from the entertainment segment of how Atlanta is so important.
Right.
The segue into not just the culture, but all platforms from music, sports,
Right.
entertainment,
Yeah.
everything, acting.
Right.
And this is something that our forefathers laid visionary, stones back in the 60s,
For sure.
70s.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King.
Before then, either.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Martin Luther King. Who else? We got Maynard Jackson.
Yes.
Andrew
Andrew Young.
Young.
Yeah. James Orange. There's so many different people. Ralph David Abernathy.
All them.
All of these people who laid these foundations down. You can go back even further than that. You're talking about Auburn Avenue. People talk about Black Wall Street in Tulsa. Auburn Avenue was that in Atlanta. And still is now.
Circuit.
It still is now. It's so funny. My dad, I remember when I was in high school, I said, yo, Dad, we said, where you going tonight? I said, I want to Royal Peacock. He's like, that's still around?
Wow.
I said, I was going to Royal Peacock back before Vietnam.
Yeah.
I said, for real? So these are places, and even, have you ever seen the picture of Martin Luther King shooting pool? It's a picture, it's a real infamous picture. Martin Luther King shooting pool. And it was in the Royal Peacock.
Wow.
And this is in the 60s or the late 50s or the early 60s.
Right.
So these places have been around in Atlanta. Auburn Avenue was Black Wall Street in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Before we even were even thought of.
So the individual I was talking about was Marvin Arrington Sr., a person who, initially went to Howard.
Right.
Right. Got homesick.
Oh, wow.
Came back to Emory.
Oh, wow.
Was the first, him and his best friend was the first people to graduate with Emory Law.
Black people.
African Americans.
Yeah.
And where I'm at with it, it's like, bro, like looking at that documentary, I said to myself, I'm like, bro, like we've been paving the way.
For sure, no doubt
But
about
I think the thing with this new Atlanta has to understand is, bro, if it wasn't for the Jeezys, the T.I.s, the 2 Chainz, these guys who've been, making these, I wouldn't say catastrophic, but these big moves.
Yeah, for sure.
It wouldn't be no Lil Baby. It wouldn't be no Gunna. It wouldn't be no Young Thug.
Right, for sure.
If it wasn't for So Def,
right,
it wouldn't be QC.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like Outkast and all these different groups. If it wasn't for Outkast, it wouldn't be no Amigos.
Yeah, right. No doubt about it.
Like, and everything. You see what I'm saying? So even when you're talking about the influence of the culture from the business sector, like Atlanta has the busiest airport in the world.
For sure.
The world, Craig.
Yeah, for sure.
The world.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was because of the Andrew Youngs.
And the Maynard Jackson.
The Maynard Jackson.
Yeah, built that airport.
To see something and say, because initially the black culture was in Birmingham. So they said, instead of it being in Birmingham,
That's true,
we gonna migrate to Atlanta and build and have this blackness that's authentic.
Yep.
It's different in New Orleans.
Right.
It's different in Miami.
For sure.
It's different in New York. It's even different in California.
One thing about New Orleans is like they're so self-contained there. Like I've been there for 6-7 years now, shooting Queen Sugar down there. And man, it's a beautiful city. It's the most unique city in America, in my opinion. But they are so self-contained. They are so New Orleans. The way they speak is differently than anybody else.
That Geechee.
Is that, hey, my baby, hey, baby. It's amazing.
It's comforting.
It is. And it's their own lane.
Yeah.
One thing about Atlanta is so many people migrate down here. Because of the universities. You got those, you got all these, you got the Emory, you got the Georgia Techs, you got the Georgia States, but it's the Morehouse, the Spelman, the Clark, and the Morris Browns that made black people come down here.
Right.
And when they come down here, they end up staying down here.
Yes.
They ended up building businesses down here.
Because they feel that they're wanted.
They feel like they're wanted.
They see, man, I remember a producer that's on with Iconic Saga, Omari. I call her Peggy.
Okay.
Right. Peggy said, bro, when I first came to Atlanta, I ain't never seen so many black people in positions of power.
Yeah, man.
Like, man, I ain't never seen a black dude drive a Benz on top of, he behind another black woman that's driving in a BMW. And
Exactly.
then behind him is a young dude that's driving in a, you know what I mean?
Cam, I'm gonna tell you some real talk, man. When I moved to LA, I was in my early 20s, and it was a culture shock to me. I'm from Atlanta. I'm used to black everything. I'm used to black chief of police, black mayors, black judges, you know, but I moved to LA, and I remember like the first couple weeks I was there, I got stopped. And I was living in Glendale, California. And I was like, well, I mean, did I do something wrong? I don't know. I wasn't even driving no nice car. It was like, you just want to check.
Probable cause.
Probably just, driving while black. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that didn't really happen to me in the A.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was a culture shock because I lived my whole life in Atlanta. And so when I moved out there, I was like, oh, this is what people are always talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is what people are talking about. So it is so welcoming to people of color, specifically black people, when they come down here, man. You know?
And when I talk this way, and for the viewer, like, because I do have a multi-dimensional audience.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? I'm not really trying to defame Caucasians because
At all.
I do have unbelievable presence from the Caucasian community.
For sure.
All I'm doing is using my platform to impact and empower.
And all I can do is tell my story.
That's it.
All I can do is tell my
That's
story.
it.
And just about my perception, the way that I see things. You dig? Yeah. So when growing up as a child, born in Georgia Baptist Hospital, you know what I'm saying, in the 4th Ward, raised in Decatur, lived my whole life either in Decatur or in Atlanta, and then picking up and going somewhere else. Now, what I do love, I also live in Harlem too. So I still feel that same kind of love and that same kind of impact in Harlem that I feel like down here too.
Speaking of Harlem, and I was talking to my guy today, and I was like, as I'm getting into the fashion industry, I had to say to myself, like, what really moved me in a way that, really impacted the way as I was growing.
Right.
Whether as a teenager, as a young adult, I was like, okay, I want to be that.
Right.
I seen the film American Gangster. And seeing Frank Lucas.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, bro, like this is the businessman. Granted, he was doing a lot of corrupt things, but at the same time, he was making money.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, I was like, bro, I'm moved by that. To be able to look a certain type of way, feel a certain type of way, and me being raised in church, I always had a keen eye to suits, sport coat.
For sure.
I used to call it a jacket when before I even knew it was a sport coat.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? And being able to identify, like, that's what I think is cool. And as I grew older, when people started looking at me and start talking to them, like, bro, why you dressed like that? Or, why this and why that? It's like, I feel comfortable in these type of clothes because the aesthetic that I seen growing up, like between my father or the people in the church, and then all of a sudden I started seeing, it was like, oh man, like these dudes back in the day in Harlem, the Dapper Dans, these dudes was putting on bell bottoms and Chelsea boots, and really stepping. Like I don't condone any type of domestic violence, but pimps, like they would put it on.
I'm gonna tell you, and like where I live 1 block away from Dapper Dan's haberdashery. Man, me and Dapper Dan might just mess around and see each other in the morning, drinking coffee, drinking tea or whatever, and just sit around and just chop it up, man. And he is still a fly dude. I was just in Harlem probably about a month ago having brunch with his wife and his daughter.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So man, like Dapper Dan's imprint in Harlem is untouchable.
Yeah.
And and Gucci is his is his haberdashery now.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are giving it up. It's funny because at the same
No,
time tried to sue
it's
him.
not Gucci no more.
It was Gucci.
It's
What is it now?
Gap.
Oh, he got Gap now?
Gap.
Because it was Gucci there 2 years ago.
Right.
Now it's Gap?
No, because he did the collab with Gucci.
Yeah.
And, you know, I heard his story too because I seen him. Where I'm at right now, bro, I feel like I'm so woke to understanding, like, you know, what my purpose is and what I need to do, you know, for my environment. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Now, the people who I come in contact with, I want to empower them in my own way, right? That's how we impact the world. You see what I'm saying? When I was talking to Dapper Dan, he was speaking on, like, bro, he was really the first one to take an idea because he didn't necessarily have the means to get the Gucci's or the Louis or the Fendi's or the things like that.
Right.
And he said, bro, I created my own lane.
He created his own lane,
he fucked around. It was almost like Dapper Dan was doing the clothes what Wayne was doing the mixtapes.
Dapper Dan was doing the clothes what black women were doing the soul food. You dig?
Dug it out.
You know, that's what he was doing.
Like,
give me a little piece of this.
You know,
give me a piece of that,
and
I'll make it into art. Man, you see some of those. You see some of those clothes with Eric B. and Rakim and Big Daddy Kane was wearing that stuff back in '87 to '88.
Yeah,
man, that stuff looks like couture.
Man,
you hear me?
Real talk.
Yeah, man.
So for him to be able to now go from a lawsuit from a company to a partnership with a company.
That's what tripped me up.
It was like, bro, like we need you. But more importantly, on the bigger stage, we need more people of color in positions of power because we infiltrate the world in a way that's unmatched. And it's sad because our people, and you see it all the time in the music, in the movie industry, where they take our stories, and they profit off of it because of, damn, you said what happened?
You know what? So this is what I'm gonna tell you. In the last 7 or 8 years, somebody asked me, like, well, what is the difference now than it was, say, 10 years ago? I said, we're telling our own stories instead of having people dictate what our stories are, and we're just the actors in them. You know, it's funny, man, you were talking earlier about The Blind Side, right?
Yes, sir.
And we're talking about Michael Orr,
yes,
whose story it is in The Blind Side. And I said, it tripped me out when the movie came out, you know, I was in the film.
Right.
And I said, wow, it's a cool movie. And when I read Michael Orr wasn't a fan of it, and we talked about it, and you said, nah, he really wasn't. And I said, well, you know what? But before I do any other story, I play anybody else in real life, I want to talk to the people who I'm portraying.
Yes, sir.
So when I did Selma, James Orange, may he rest in peace, he's not alive, but his daughter Juanita is. So I started talking to her, had a little relationship with her. And then when she saw the movie, she said, you embodied my father. You know, when I did When They See Us, when I played Lumbe Braff, you know, Lumbe isn't here anymore. I talked to his son, he lives in Harlem.
Yeah.
We chopped it up, it's my guy. We live in, you know, around the corner from each other. He said, all right, beautiful, man. You played the spirit of my dad. I love that. Same thing with James Cleveland's folks. When they saw the Aretha miniseries, they were like, man, you embodied it. Because the thing about it, I want to tell the story from their perspective. They know him better than I could ever know him.
So to that point, would you consider yourself a method actor?
I try, you know what? People who are method actors live in that all day. They live in it. They like go out to eat when we say cut. And they're not themselves. I try to, when I'm on set, I try to embody that spirit of whatever character I'm playing.
How do you get to that? Because an actor is an artist.
100%, yeah.
And it's one of the most purest forms of art because you're using yourself as the vessel.
100%, yes.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's what it is, though.
That's crazy.
That's what it is. So, you know, I do my homework, man. If I'm playing a character, if I get something, if I get the material, when I get the material, I just start breaking it down for hours on end. I do all my homework before I get to set. When I get to set, like, it's just YouTube, if it's a fictional character, I write my own history on that character, how that character grew up, where that character came from. You know, if that character went to school, if that character went to a trade school, if a character went from, you know, high school or whatever and went straight into the workforce. And then what was his loves of his life? What was the first love he ever had? What his grandma used to sing to him? What, you know, all of that type of stuff. So that's inside of me right before I walk on set. And when I walk on set, I can just embody that, period. Boom, I'm right there with it. You know, But if I'm playing a non-fictional character, a real person,
Right.
I do as much research, like you say, read as much as I can. Go on YouTube, watch the persons, watch their mannerisms. You know, why is his hand like that? Why is he moving like that? And what makes the body do that?
Right.
You know, I do all of that stuff before I even get to set. If I can do all of that, by the time they say action and the cameras are rolling, then I'm already in it, man. Yeah.
Now, speaking of, what we already previously talked about, like, is there non-negotiables in the acting world that you're not doing?
There's a couple of things, man. What I won't do
Which is?
I won't play a rapist.
Okay. Do you have any kids?
I got 2 daughters.
Oh, wow.
I got 2 daughters, man. I'm 23 and 18. One graduated from Howard 2 years ago.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. She was there with your brother, was playing with your quarterback.
What?
Yeah, she was there.
Damn,
I remember when that first game when they beat
UNLV.
UNLV, man. Well, she was like, we got Cam brother up here. We got Cam brother up here. She was so crunk about that.
And man, listen, for him too, man, he gets so much love, man. And man, I ain't gonna lie to you. For him to be my younger brother, I look up to him.
Word.
Cause I'm gonna
Why
tell
you say that?
Like, bro, both of my brothers, like they individuals that I get all the shine. You know what I'm saying? But they're totally different entities.
Gotcha.
Now, my older brother, he got me really into old school cars. You feel me?
Word. Okay, bro.
But I got him on cigars.
Okay, gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Man, my brother used to be a big weed smoker.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So much so that it was affecting him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In a way from just energy, not being motivated to now
man.
it's just like, bro, he's the GM of my, he's owner of my, cigar lounge. Like, if it's not
dope.
me,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I gifted that to him to be able to wear it proud.
That's beautiful.
Proud, like, bro, like, man, I'm an owner of an establishment.
Yeah.
And my younger brother, bro, I look up to him because everything that I lack in, he's strong in. And honestly, like, if we keeping it funky, man, recently I asked him, because I'm going into such a woke side of myself, that I'm like, bro, how do you control your tongue to not curse?
Right.
Like, bro, he won't curse. Never curse though.
That's right.
And I'm like, bro, it's so tough for me. And then it's like, he doesn't curse. And I'm like, bro, you so pure.
Right.
I admire that. You know what I'm saying? How do you, like, I was like, bro, how do you not cheat on your girl?
Right.
Like, not to say that I'm a cheater.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? But I have stepped out on multiple relationships, which that doesn't make me a bad person. I'm just identifying
You're a human.
I'm a human.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I don't want to do that no more.
Yeah.
But what's your help me help myself? See what I'm saying? And I asked that to a lot of other men. You know what I'm saying?
Discipline. It's discipline, man.
Help me help myself to the degree where it's like, what's your method? He said, bro, honestly, we live in a time where access is so easy.
It is.
Like, bro, when I go on Instagram, I see a good looking person, a good looking female, I just click, I hit those 3 dots to the right, bloop, and I hit not interested. And I refresh. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So now,
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing. It's
That's
like,
beautiful.
bro,
Yeah.
a dude like me, bro,
Yeah.
it's so easy. Like, it's so many traps out there.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, bro, everybody goes through these humanistic things.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned if I don't use my platform to say, like, bro, like, here I am, a person who comes from structure, but I don't always do the right thing.
Right.
I fall victim to these things and I need help.
But it's
with
about
support
growth
cast.
too, though, Cam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like my father's a minister. My father's a pastor.
What?
Yeah, he a pastor, man.
Boom.
But the thing about it, though, is
Wow.
like he wasn't always a pastor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had to grow into what he is.
But did you know him any other than?
Yes, I knew him before he became a preacher.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? But he was a human. Mm-hmm. But then he grew as a man and as, into the word or whatever, he became a different person.
Mm-hmm.
He was the same person on the inside, but I mean, he was the same, he had the same good
He
spirit.
wasn't like a vegetable.
Yeah, but he changed his outlook on life.
Right.
It's the same way. It's great that your brother can do that in his early 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like,
So admirable, man.
yeah, it's very
And I'm
admirable, man.
Like for me,
Yeah.
bro, Like, don't show me the dude that got it all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, money comes and goes, dog.
It does, man.
Like, and
show
where
me the
we
person
are,
who's learned a lesson.
Like, show me the person who done been through something,
Yeah,
or
man.
a person who's been tempted and not acting on it.
Yeah, or have learned from their mistakes.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
bro.
saying? I learned the most from other people's mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, well, that's the role you took.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna do that one. So, you know, even if I might take this role, it might make a bump here, and then the next person can learn from my little bump that I messed up at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's about paying it forward anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, to go back to the non-negotiables, it's the rapist. Like I said, I got 2 daughters. One is at Arizona State now. The other one graduated from Howard. And then just playing I couldn't play a child molester. I could never do that, man.
Yeah.
These are things that you just don't even want to even think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I
To
wouldn't even want that
to take your mind
to take your mind into that, bro.
to-
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man. Nah.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, two things too. Right. And we're talking about current events. I usually don't even do this, but you know, I'll be remiss to not use this as a opportunity to tell your side of what you even think about it.
Right.
The Tiffany Haddish situation.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not really hip to everything that's going on. I kind of have an idea about it, but even with that, what's some things that you feel about it? How would you advise anybody to move, you know what I'm saying, from it? You being an actor and been in that industry.
You know, I remember watching that a long time ago. I remember when it came out. It came out a long time ago. And me and Tiffany's still real cool. You know what I'm saying? But I was cool with her when I saw it. And I thought it was bad taste. And I don't think it was her as much as it was like just the setup. I think she came in, did her part, and then the rest of it was Aries, you know, playing the whatever character he was playing. I thought it was bad taste, but I won't critique anybody's comedy. I just don't think it was good to have a little kid in the pool, in the swimming tub, in a tub.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's not good
I think
taste, and
sometimes-
it's disturbing a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's especially coming from parents. You know what I'm saying? Because it really puts in question, like, man, is this happening in daycare?
Right.
You know,
Right.
Is this happening when, you know, my nanny's at home?
Right,
Like, is this,
right.
Because I remember the mother of my children mentioned one thing to me. She was like, I don't put my children into school until they're able to communicate. Like everybody rushing their kids to daycare and they doing this and they doing that. But if my child can't communicate with me and tell me like, how was his day?
How was your
her
day? Exactly.
What
Yep.
happened?
Yep.
And I found myself doing it last night, right?
Right.
So my daughter comes home from school and she went to, like initially, like I did a self-diagnostic on her as soon as I seen her.
Right.
I said, you went to school with stockings. Where your stockings at?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But she had a bandage around her knee.
Yeah.
So then, you know, as an adult, you have savvy ways of getting information out.
Right, for sure.
So as I'm bathing her, you know, that's my like daddy-daughter time with each one of my children.
Yeah.
As I'm, you know, talk to them, like, cause I have a lot of kids. I take pride in nurturing my children.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And it's hard, not necessarily hard, but you have to strategize different ways to have personal one-on-one time with your children.
Right.
Like I still try to make time to take each one of my children on dates. Like, no, this is just me and daddy, daughter.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
just
I
me and
do it.
Chosen.
I do
This is
it.
just me
Yep.
and Suge.
Yep.
This is just me and Caesar. This is just me and, you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
Pumbaa. This is just me and, you know, Jaden. You know what I'm saying? And even with Shakira, it's just like, you know, yesterday as I'm picking Sovereign up from school, I seen that her stockings was off. I was like, okay, cool, boom. And then I seen she had a bandage around her knee. So I'm like, okay, she scraped her knee. So when I was giving her a bath, I was saying to myself, I was like, okay, Kuda, how was your day at school? I said, did you have fun? She's like, yeah, daddy, I got a boo-boo. I said, oh, what happened, baby? I scraped my knee on the concrete. And she was like, you know, the cutest thing. She was like, oh, you know, don't put it right there because it hurts. Let me do it. So boom, I'm allowing her to, you know what I'm saying, to nurture it in her own way. And then I say, hey, baby, did somebody push you? Right. She said, no, daddy, I just tripped up on my own. But Miss So-and-so helped me, da-da-da-da. Right. If she was 2,
and weren't able to communicate any of that,
you know what I'm saying?
Your mind would have been racing.
It would have been like, hold on, why is she coming home with scratches on her arm,
right,
or something around her neck, or, you know, things that are, because I don't change the way I parent my children. You know, now it may be different techniques because
They're
with
all
her
different.
having that scab on her knee as a daughter,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you want daddy to
Yeah.
But if that was my son, it was like, boy, hey,
Put some dirt on that.
be tough.
Exactly.
Come on,
Put
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's a perfect example of me knowing like, okay, she can communicate. She knows when something's wrong.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as we kind of segue into keep moving forward, like you are a person who has done a lot.
Right.
And done a lot in the sense of, you know, if you're not a success story, I don't know what success is.
Man, I appreciate
You see what I'm saying?
Coming from you, I appreciate it.
No, like, no, for real.
Thank you, Cam.
Like this ain't no butter shit. This
No,
is
I can
like
dig
some,
it, man.
this
I
some real
appreciate
shit.
it. Yeah, thank you.
Like when I was looking at your Rolodex of the movies and the films and the series that you've been in, and I'm like, bro, you the dream. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a person who, you know, I'm a millennial, and everything is like popping.
Right.
Obviously, going back to the old Atlanta, like we didn't have Instagram, Twitter,
Right.
TikTok back when Freaknik was happening. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It
Thank
was
God. Thank God we did.
crazy. You know what I mean?
Bruh, listen.
That's your mama right there. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
her on the dog. You know, that's your daddy right there with his shirt on.
Bruh, listen.
You know what I mean? But
that's Big Mama. That's somebody Big Mama
That's
out there
oh my God,
busting it wide open.
that's
bruh.
me, mom.
That's
That ain't
me,
no-
Mom, busting it open in front of that Nissan Camry.
Oh
bruh.
my God, that Honda Civic,
That Honda
silver,
Civic, boy.
the Acura Legend.
Bruh, listen, bruh.
You know what I'm saying? Pop was swole, you feel me? Now he ballooned up now,
Exactly.
you feel me? But, you know, for you in this industry, what is some things that if I'm a person who is an inspired actor or actress,
Right.
that I have to be prepared for?
A bunch of no's. You know what? It's the one industry that, like, man, if you succeed 10% of the time, you're a success. When you go to these auditions, especially early on, man, you go to these auditions and it's 30 people in the room. They might not look like you, but they're all going for that one role. Yeah. Then it's a 1 out of 30 chance you might get that thing. You know what I'm saying? And they all studied. They all did their thing. They all, you know, done
But
their plays.
how do you stick out though?
You know what,
in a
man?
room full of-
So the thing about it is you got to be the best you that you can be. There's no other Cam Newton. There's no other Omar Dorsey. You just play. You when you're doing something, don't try to be like Denzel. Don't try to be like Kevin Hart. Be you. That'll stick out. Because they ain't made another you. They made you. God made you and broke the mold.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, and they're like, oh, that's very interesting. I never saw that. I go to acting classes now just to sit back and watch actors. I'm going to one tonight. I went to one last week just to sit back and watch them, you know what I'm saying? And just to see these early actors and see what they're doing. You know, I'm not the teacher. I'm not going to critique. But I will pull somebody aside and like, man, you know what? You're acting. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Say the lines as you would say them. So that's the main thing. People think that when you're acting, you have to be up there and doing all this broad
Memorization.
But the memorization is cool, but they think you got to do this broad stuff. Man, the camera's so tight, it'll pick up everything. It'll pick up everything. If you're on stage, you might have to do a little bit more theatrics, but not that much more. People they have a perception in their mind what acting is. Like, I gotta act. Now you gotta be.
So with that, with your evolution of an on-camera actor, so to speak, right? Did this come from theater?
No doubt about it, man. My mother was a theater director in Atlanta. Yep, for Just Us Theater. She was a theater teacher. She was in the drama ministry at Green Forest Baptist Church in Decatur. Okay. She was she's a teacher at Henry County High School. She was a drama person over there. Yep, in McDonough. So I was always doing theater. I went, like I said, I'm performing in high school. Yeah. I went to study acting in college. You know, I did all of that. I thought I was gonna be a Broadway actor. So between that and then by the time when I was in college, I started doing movies. I did Drumline when I was in college. I did Road Trip when I was in college. I did all these. I was playing college students, but I did all of these when I was in college. So I was just like, you know what, man, I'm gonna transition and try to do this film thing. I still do plays. Right. I still do plays. You know, I haven't done a play since the pandemic, but I did a play at the Apollo. I did the Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me. You know, they did they showed it on HBO, the making of the play. But yeah, man, I still do plays now.
Damn,
so
bro,
you know, so I try to keep my.
You have so many. Your portfolio is so rich.
Hey, man, yeah.
But how do you compartmentalize? Because I'm pretty sure when one opportunity presents itself, they don't care that you're doing something else.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How are you able to like say, okay, I'm doing, you know what I'm saying, Raising Canaan today, but then I just got an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, with Selma during the same time.
So what it was, when I was doing Selma, at the same time, I was doing Ray Donovan. So I'll be down here in Atlanta on the weekdays shooting Selma, flying to LA on a red eye to shoot scenes for Ray Donovan on Saturday, Sunday, take a red eye back here to go do that. And so even like this year, when I was doing Queen Sugar, then I had to fly to Savannah, doing Queen Sugar New Orleans, fly to Savannah to go do Halloween Ends, and fly back. I was doing that though. I do that a lot, man. I do it a lot. You got to compartmentalize it though.
Yeah.
You just have to. But I come from the world of like something called summer stock. What that is you go somewhere for the summer and you do 3 or 4 plays that summer. You're doing 3 or 4 plays at the same time.
Yeah.
So you got to remember like all of these lines for different plays. Because on Tuesday, you might be doing some Bertolt Brecht. On Wednesday, you might be doing some Shakespeare. On Thursday, you might be doing some August Wilson. So you got to just remember all of that. So my mind has already been trained to do that since I was 16, 17 years old, man.
Listen, man, God works in so mysterious ways that the person that you're becoming has already been prompted to be what God wanted you to be.
It's like, just like you, man. Like, you know, you're doing 2 a days, man. You know, by the time you get to the league, man, you know, it ain't gonna say it ain't nothing because them boys bigger in the league and they faster, but you already, like you talking about Mike, he already had everything, Michael Orr already had all his everything set out. He knew exactly what he was doing at what time. He might be on the phone, but he's still gonna do his workout or whatever.
So even, man, I just remember a very vivid recollection of Michael Orr, and everybody knows the Blind Side version of him. And, you know, he speaks open about it, and I don't want to tell his story, but with me eliminating that as a whole, my experience with Mike was he taught me routine.
Right.
Like, I felt like the evolution of Cam peaked at 2015.
That's an MVP year.
The MVP year, in a large part because of him. And I don't think he knows this.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Because I'm such a visual learner that just like so many people, especially in our culture, we're peeping things but not giving it the credit it deserves.
100%, yeah.
Because I'm looking at him like I would. So we would have Victory Mondays, right?
Right.
So
y'all had a lot of victories.
A lot of victories.
Y'all lost the one game. I remember that.
You know what I'm saying?
The Falcons,
we had
wasn't
a
it?
lot of victories.
Bro, I remember. I think y'all got beat by the Falcons.
Yeah.
And I was in the Bahamas doing a movie, and I was watching. I was like, and I wanted y'all. It's so crazy. I'm from Atlanta. I wanted y'all to go undefeated because I wanted you to go undefeated.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want Cam to go undefeated.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I was torn.
We lost that game.
Yeah.
In 2000, that only.
It might have been game 15 or something. What game was it?
Yeah, it was game 15.
Yeah.
We played a game after that before the playoffs, but we played that game. Chosen was born.
Oh wow.
That Thursday.
Right.
And we played Sunday, so I didn't even practice.
Okay.
And I'm a firm believer of practice. But as that year, back to Mike, like I would call him Daddy-O. Yo, Daddy-O. Like, what's up, man? What's up, fam? Hey, nah, fam, gotta get my body right, fam.
Yeah.
And I would work in different times of the days, but that's how I learned.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody want this brick and mortar, like, oh, you gotta be like, you know, Peyton Manning, you gotta be like Tom Brady, you gotta be like Aaron Rodgers. And I was like, bro, I'm not them. I don't want to be them, bro.
Right.
Stop forcing that shit on me.
Right.
You feel me? Because Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Aaron Rodgers, they can't do what
you.
You know what I'm saying?
You. Exactly.
So stop doing that. Coaches has to stop doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's how we're still getting critiqued. And you see it in their draft situation. I'm like, bro, Lamar Jackson is the most dangerous.
Bro, he was dangerous as a freshman.
Like, come on, bro.
Come on, man.
So he gonna always get, disserved because it's like, bro, the people that's critiquing him don't cope with him.
Right.
You feel me?
That's why I do love about Harbaugh, though. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
Like,
he let Lamar do what he do, man.
Real shit.
Yeah.
So when I found that out and I was seeing guys like Michael Orr, Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, Ryan Khalil, all these people, Trey Turner.
Right.
And I see everybody
monster
learns.
team, boy. Good
everybody
God.
learns different.
Right.
But so for me, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me take what he's doing. And I respect Michael's ability to not be distracted, but put his focus first.
You know what? So when you asked me if I was a method actor, not really, because I know method actors like Walton Goggins, who plays Baby Billy on Wretched Gemstone. He's an amazing actor. He's a method actor. I know other actors who do like
Baby Billy.
Baby Billy on
Uncle Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy. He's a method actor. He's one of my best friends.
Really?
Method actor. But then you got like some people like Jamie Foxx will be laughing all day, and they get in there and be tight with it. Everybody doesn't have to have the same process.
Yeah.
We all going for the same goal though. And whatever my process is, whatever his process is, whatever his or hers or whatever, it's a team. We all going for the same we all going for the same thing. So it's the exact same way.
That.
Yeah, respect it. Because as soon as it come on camera, it don't matter, man.
Don't
like when you
matter,
see a
bro.
dude like Sam Jackson who hit it the same way every time, and you like, dang, man, what did it look like? Well, you see it, when you go back and watch it playback, you be like, that looks like movie magic. Because the way he doing it, while you looking at him, you like, well, what is he doing, huh? But he knows exactly what he's doing. He's been doing it for 70 years. He knows exactly what he's doing.
See, man, you're talking to a person who I don't judge. I try not to judge. I ask God to remove that trait from me.
Yeah.
Because I know I have 7 children, right? Each one of them is completely different. Shakira is different than Jaden. Jaden's different than Chosen. Chosen's different than Sovereign Dior. Sovereign Dior is different than Cashmere. Cashmere is different than Caesar. Caesar's different than Commodus.
Right.
And if I'm expecting all of them to act the same, be the same, then they're not avatars.
Right.
As human beings, we're not avatars. You
At
just
all.
can't sit up here and say, okay, abracadabra, manners, boom.
Right.
Now, they may say, like, Jaden, and his nickname is China. I may yell up there like this morning, China, let's go. His response is, yeah, all right, here I come. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's him saying, yes, sir. Okay, cool, boom. It's the tone and the intentions for certain
100%,
things.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, if I'm trying to get you to learn these type of things as the person producing the information, no matter what that information is, you have to trust that person is going to take it as serious as you want them to do, but under their discretion of how I learn.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's almost like telling your children to say, all right, let's do homework. Everybody learns different.
Everybody, yep.
Some people succeed higher. Some people, succeed at their own rate. But, bro, that's not, if you're asking a shark to race Usain Bolt in a track, that success ain't gonna be good.
Exactly.
Now you asking that shark to race Usain Bolt in water,
Yep. Exactly.
shit gonna look a little different.
You know what? It's so crazy because even like raising my daughters, like my youngest is a lot like me. Man, I didn't really have to like study to get A's or any of that stuff, right? But I had a tendency to be lazy and I mess around and get a C. You know, my youngest was like that. My oldest works so hard. She's dyslexic. She works so hard on everything. Even to this day, she works hard.
Yeah.
And she got straight A's, dean lists, all that, because she understood that it took hard work for her. She wasn't just gonna coast.
Right.
And like, so, but their methods were different on how why can't you work as hard as her? Why can't you just keep picking up as fast as her?
Yeah.
It's different methods. It's different human beings.
Oh,
Different humans are different human beings.
And I was having a conversation with my business partner, and I was telling him, I'm like, bro, people are always looking at you. And the worst thing that you can do is compare.
Right.
Comparison is the thief of all joy. So if I'm saying like, damn, bro, like the next guest come on, like, damn, you weren't as cool as Omar. Like Omar was cool. He was
Right.
Why you can't smoke a cigar? It's
Right.
like, bro, so what are you saying?
Yeah,
See what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I'm like, bro, let people be them, bro. Like we all are uniquely, you know what I'm saying, ourselves. And before you sit up here and say, oh, bro, I don't see why he cheating on her, or I don't see why she with him and doing this or doing that. Like, bro, you don't know what that person's going through.
What you said is like, you don't judge. And then the Bible says, judge not lest ye be judged.
I swear.
Straight up,
He
man.
who cast the first stone.
Yep.
Not the second one.
Yep.
Not like the first person who throw the say, aha, Omar did it.
Exactly.
Okay, you ain't as perfect as you thought you was.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So man, for me, I always try to try to go about things in a way where, like, even this platform, like Funky Friday, right?
Right.
This is something where in the first time in a long time, I'm able to do and talk about things that I care about.
Right.
And not being able to be judged or like banned from saying like, bro, you know what, man, fuck this shit.
Right.
I mean, granted, and I'm trying to watch my tongue.
Trying to be more like your little brother.
You know what I mean? But it be like, bro, like my transition is a part of my transition. It ain't your transition.
Man.
You
For
feel
sure,
me?
man.
And then it's like, I'm more than what you know me for.
And we're constantly evolving.
Right.
If we're not look, man, the day you stop growing is the day you start dying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that with a flower, with a plant. If it doesn't start growing, it starts wilting and it starts dying. Man, we are constantly getting fed new information. Daily, man.
Daily. And
and processing it.
At the best time in humanity, we're able to, at the fingertips, find out anything that we want to find out.
Bro, this is the most insane thing.
Bro, back in the day,
had to
like,
go to the-
take the 50s. They didn't have internet. They didn't even have a phone.
Bro,
So just to be able to say, hey, yo, Omar, bro, I'm going to meet you at, you know what I'm saying, the
Yep.
spot at 8.
Yep. And that's why y'all back then, the people you hung with was so tight. It was just in that community. You know what I'm saying? Now you could be like you said, you go on the internet, see somebody like on IGL, meet me over here, at 10 o'clock. You wasn't like that if you couldn't pick up no phone and do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Access,
man.
to a lot of different things.
At a touch of a finger, man. Even it's crazy because even when I was in elementary school, we had you had to go to the library. You had to go find this. I forgot what it was called. Those little cards, and they'll tell you exactly like
the roll.
The roll.
E12.
Yes, E12. Exactly.
Yeah.
Had to go over there, pick up that book. Now you can just do it like, well, let me go read this book, and the book is right there. The audio book might be right there.
Like
You gotta read it.
even when you go to a department store,
Yeah.
a convenience store or a grocery store, it's
Yeah.
like, bro, I'm looking for, this particular seasoning. They gonna tap it in technology is.
It's at a drop. It's the access. Everything is right there.
You know what I mean?
At the touch of a finger.
Anything other than that, they gonna be pushing your ass to I hear motherfucker right here.
Exactly.
Shit,
Yep.
voila, in your face.
Yep.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But as we kind of wrap this segment up, man. I always want people to be encouraged about understanding where the situation that they're in their life, you had to start from somewhere.
For sure, man.
You know what I mean? Growing up in Atlanta, it always does my heart good because, like, I see cats all the time, whether, playing basketball at the convenience store, grocery store, shopping or whatever, or just out and about with my family. And I'm like, I see so much of me in them.
Right.
And everybody want to be the little babies. Everybody want to be the LeBrons. Everybody want to be, you know what I'm saying, the Omar Dorseys. You see what I'm saying?
The Cams. Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, we need people to understand, like, that's part of it.
Right.
But the other part of it, like, what about, you know what I'm saying, being an editor?
Yeah,
what
for
about,
sure,
What
man.
about, you know what I'm saying, being the director, being
It's
the
so
producer?
funny. My daughter went to Howard to be an actress, right? She came out, when she graduated, she wanted to be a director because my girlfriend's a director. She's a big director. My daughter started working on television shows.
So the flex.
And then she was just like, you know what? I want to be a writer. I want to tell stories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you can figure out what you want to be. It might not be the big lights or whatever. You might want to be, man, editors make a lot of money. Cameramen make big bread. Whatever. Writers control the world. One of my favorite writers went to Westlake High School.
No, he did.
Yes, he did. His name is Mike Flynn.
What?
Mike Flynn. He was a writer on. He was one of the executive producers of Raising Kanan. One of the executive producers of Queen Sugar. Created his own show right now. It's coming out on CBS called East New York. It's going to be following The Equalizer.
What?
went to Westlake, one of the best writers in the world, man.
Man, you got to connect us.
Yeah, I need to connect y'all.
I didn't even
I need to connect. And another amazing actor went to Westlake named Blue Kimball. I don't know if you know Blue. He played in the league, but he an actor too.
But a lot, man, bro, you don't Atlanta, bro.
Atlanta, bro.
Like Ludacris,
Yeah.
Chris Cross,
Yes.
Jermaine Dupri,
Killer Mike.
Lil Baby,
Yeah,
Killer Mike.
This fam, man.
Like,
That's
bro, all these people
and then
came
even when
from
you
the
look at
same
like
streets.
and people who like
Gunna,
Gunna, all these dudes, man. All
T.I.
of them. Yep.
You feel me?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like, damn, bro.
That's what we
like,
have here,
2
man.
Chainz going to North Clayton.
Yep.
You
Yep.
feel me?
Shoot, like even Childish Gambino, even Donald Glover went to my high school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Went to my high school.
That's crazy.
And like Lloyd went to my high
Monica,
school.
can't forget about Monica.
Yeah, Lloyd
Me
went
and
to my
Monica
high
went to the
school.
same private school growing up when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade.
Yep.
Solid Rock Academy, bro.
Shoot,
like,
Future went to Future. It was we lived in my neighborhood, Decatur, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right over there on Columbia Drive, man.
That's crazy.
That's what it is, man. This is what we have here. That's one good thing about Atlanta, though, man. It's just like especially with the arts, like even the way we express ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when people started talking about you dress, I said, man, Cam dress like a player, man. What y'all talking about? I said, man, he expressing himself, man.
Yeah.
I said, y'all will catch up. Don't worry about it. And everybody called up 5, 6 years later.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
but
saying?
even then, like, man, I remember I was dressing the way I dressed way before NFL players was getting the notoriety for it.
Right.
Like, I created
A lane. Yeah.
for myself, and that spurred a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I remember a person comes up to me and she was like, I just watch football just to see what you're gonna wear. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And you know, my mom, you know, she's always looking at, oh, I'm going for this team. Why are you going for that team, Mom? I like their jerseys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, however a person likes football is their reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know,
Shoot, my ex used to be like, man, she used to watch the Panthers just to see your press conferences. She said, what camp I have on today? Oh, I was like, I have
it's
no
gonna be
idea.
a show.
I'm talking about, bruh. It was hilarious. I'm telling you, man, folks used to watch just to watch your press conferences, man. I
bro.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But even then, knowing that, bro, like I was always standing on, bro, be you, bro. Be uniquely you. Like,
Right.
man, I'm in a lane right now where I'm in a pool full of people, the pivots, the I Am Athletes, the Dan Patrick Show,
Right.
the you know, everything, you know, the Gilly Wallow, you know, Drink Champs.
Yeah.
And I don't see nobody.
Right.
You feel me? Because for me, I want everybody to succeed.
Yeah, for sure,
We
man.
all are different. You
Yeah,
feel me?
yeah.
I hope I bring out a side of Omar that nobody else is able to bring out
Yeah.
because it's the comfort there and the trust to know, like, oh, bro, like, I was just
And he from the crib,
you
too.
dig
You
what
know
I'm
what I'm saying?
saying?
Yeah,
Like,
man.
boom. So, man, listen, as we end this show, we're going to start right here, and then we're going to go right here, and then we're gonna finish right there at the camera. We're gonna do it together. We got one finger.
Yep. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
One pinky. One thumb. One love, man.
One love.
Omar, appreciate
Man,
you.
appreciate it.
We
Cam,
out.
boy. Yes, sir.
Yeah.